Hello, it's me, that divination witch. I hope you're all doing well. Now, I'm back with another witchy video. This is another in my series of encounters with deities and spirits I've met. And this was requested by one of you guys for me to talk about this deity. And you'll know from the title and thumbnail, but it's Apollo. And I just want to say, before we talk about Apollo, that this is a safe space. So any question you've got, or if you've got any requests or anything you want to learn, let me know, put it in the comments. No question's a silly question. For anyone new here, hello and welcome. I hope you stick around, give it a chance, hit subscribe. I am Sarah. I go by that divination witch, and yes, this is a safe space. I help people best I can. I try and just talk in a down-to-earth sort of way about spirituality. I've also got a link tree below if you are interested in getting a reading from me. I have a shop and a Patreon. I'd be so grateful if you could check it out. Any support is so appreciated. Apollo. What a lovely gentleman. And yes, he is a gentleman. So Apollo, as we know him, I suppose in the mainstream, he is the Greek god of the sun and healing and music, but also disease, as well as many other things. Of prophecy, I suppose, would be one of his things. He, in antiquity, in Hellenic times, he was the patron god of Delphi. The Oracle of Delphi or Delphi, as we say in the English language, I suppose. But she would answer to Apollo. It was handed to Apollo from his great-grandmother, I believe just grandmother, Phoebe, she's called. Phoebe it was old Titaness, mother to Leto and Asteria. Leto is Apollo and Artemis's mother. Asteria is Hecate's mother. Apollo and Hecate, through Greek myth, well, they're related, they're cousins. And he does fondly refer to her as cousin, and it's quite nice when I hear that. But these energies are archetypes, and although we've got the Greek myth of Apollo, and he's got many stories within that, he isn't just that at all. Like all these deities, Apollo predates the Greek times as well. There was an Etruscan god called Apollo, as well as obviously the Romans adopted Apollo as well. And there's other archetypes similar to Apollo, sun gods. I mean, you've just got to think of Ra straight away. I think of Ra. But with the Greeks, a little factoid I learned. When it came to their gods, you had older gods. Normally they were titans, not always, I suppose, but you had older gods that were the thing. So, for example, in the case of the sun, you had Helios, who was the personification of the sun. But then you had Apollo, who embodied some of the power of the sun, some of what the sun represented, healing, but he wasn't the personification of the sun. And it's the same with the moon, You've got the personification of the moon with Selene, and then you've got Artemis, who is also linked with the moon. You have other goddesses that are linked with the moon as well, by the way. Hecate is one of them. There's another lady as well, she's a rare goddess, and I forgot her name, but I met her once a while back. Anyways, I'm digressing. So Apollo, he is many things, but his personality, when he's presented to me, is very kind, caring, and healing. He has quite a bubbly personality, as you'd expect from somebody who is an embodiment of the sun, sort of thing, who is linked with sun energy. He can be so loving and kind and healing and caring. I haven't worked with him myself, but he has been in my space several times. I've lost count. He comes through for quite a few people. He is quite a popular god in that regard. He has spoke with me on the odd occasion for things to do with me, but it's not been a working relationship or anything like that. I've not done any magic with him or anything like that. I've just talked with him sometimes, but it's been a long while. you know. When he was around, I will say this, and this seems to be a thing he does. He kept waking me up during the night. And it wasn't in a scary way. It was in like a oops, I didn't mean to wake you up, sorry. Because his presence, I have noticed when he's in the room, as cheesy as this sounds, he lights up that room. He is a ray of sunshine, literally. I suppose if you're asleep in the middle of the night and he pops in, that is going to wake you up. But I've noticed it's a common theme online when I've seen other people's videos about him, little skits on TikTok, that he seems to wake people up during the night. And that must be his trademark. Hello, wake up, get up, get up. It's morning, come on. How do I see him? Well, I know this is going to be stereotypical, but he is very, very handsome. He's well-toned, slim though, not like a bodybuilder, but he does have muscles, definitely. Like a bronzed Adonis, even though that saying comes from Greek myth, but that's him. He's like very tanned, and I have seen him with golden hair before, and I feel like this is a theme with the Olympians from the Hera video, from the Athena video. He was the same, and that makes sense with him being the personification, well, not the personification of the sun, but embodying the sun's energy. But I have seen him with golden hair, but not always. It's normally light brown, to be honest, and he has a golden crown of laurel leaves, and he has a bow, an arrow, which he has the bow over him like that normally, and sometimes he has a lyre with him. A lyre, if you don't know, is a Greek musical instrument. I've got one and then I never used it. Sorry. Because he is a god of music and he loves music. He does. I think there isn't a genre of music he doesn't like, from heavy metal to classical to folk music to panpipes. I think he found that funny that I said panpipes because pan. But yes, he enjoys all forms of music. He likes to have a good time. He's that kind of guy. Very positive, normally positively polarized. How else do I describe him? Like, what else can I say about him? I mean, he does have this darker side. I have experienced it once or twice, and it wasn't aimed at me, but it was a warning kind of thing. And when he came through like that, it was like fire was around him. It was like you were looking at the actual sun, like hellfire in a way. And when he came through with that aspect of him, it was like his hair had gone more red and his clothing was, and it was just like this red glow, a bit like the Phoenix in X-Men when the Phoenix burns up. If you know that, I'll try and put a picture on the screen if I remember. A bit like that vibe, and especially the Roman Etruscan Apollo, who I feel like they're all like brotherly energies, but they're different. The way I see deities, I've explained this loads before, but it's like you've got the main core energy, and then different cultures have their own versions of things. And Apollo, I mean, you've got 3 types of Apollo. His name didn't really change throughout 3 different cultures there off the top of my head, never mind any other gods that are similar to him. There is a TV show, which take it with a pinch of salt, but it's interesting, and I've only watched bits of it. I haven't finished it. It's based on Neil Gaiman. It's called American Gods. It's about the pagan gods and how when people stop believing in them, they kind of die out. And yeah, it follows Odin, actually. He's badass. But there's this scene with Easter and all the different versions of Jesus. And I'll try and put a screen cap on the screen, because Jesus is Jesus, but actually he's not just Jesus. It's like any other god. Apollo is like this as well. You have Catholic version, you have Protestant version, you've got Methodist version, I don't know, loads of Baptist versions. You got so many versions of the same thing, slight nuances. It's like that with Apollo as well. So I just say brotherly energy or sisterly energy for ladies, But yes, go to Apollo for healing, very much, and creativity. He likes creative people, especially musically inclined, but artists of any variety, painters, drawers, writers, videographers. He has a good sense of humour. Not too silly, but it does depend. I feel like he's got a friendship with Dionysus here. That's what he's telling me. And Hermes. And that is quite common theme. I've noticed that. But also like Hermes, he has a darker aspect to him and a darker side. Same with Dionysus, all three of them. They have this lovely, fun side, but then the dark side. But isn't that like us all? You know, we're all well-rounded in that regard. We all have our good days, our bad days, you know. But yes, come to him for healing, come to him for creative inspiration. If you want help writing music or something creative, you know, help with a project, a podcast, a video you're making, a blog, or you're setting up a business. You know, he might not be a god of money, but god of creativity, and, you know, he can get your creative juices flowing. And also go to him for revenge. I know this is extreme, but if you've been wronged, if you've been hurt, a bit like his cousin Hecate, I wouldn't want to be on his bad side. Definitely not. He's not always love and light. He will protect his own. You know, he is that god of disease and famine and nasty things. Also good with divination and prophecies. Very much a well-rounded guy. It's no wonder he was so popular in antiquity. He was one of the main gods. So yeah, that's my experience with Apollo. It's been very positive. I've not really worked with him full on, but that's my take. So for the person who requested me talk about him, I hope it helped. And if there's anyone else you want me to talk about, let me know. And until next time, stay safe and stay witchy. Bye.